The year is insert year. The international stage is set for an unprecedented event, a summit of unlikely allies. IBRAHIM Traoré, the leader of Burkina Faso, and Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea. This meeting, shrouded in an almost theatrical secrecy, marks a pivotal moment in contemporary geopolitics. Its very existence challenges established norms and expectations, forging a connection between two nations seemingly worlds apart. Burkina Faso, a nation grappling with internal political realignments and a growing disillusionment with traditional Western partnerships, finds itself at a crossroads. President Traoré's leadership has ushered in a period of assertive self-determination, a bold rejection of perceived neo-colonial influences, and a determined pursuit of an independent path for his nation. This unwavering commitment to sovereignty forms the bedrock of his decision to invite Kim Jong-un to Burkina Faso, a move that sent shockwaves through global diplomatic circles. North Korea, long accustomed to operating outside the mainstream of international relations, also finds itself drawn into this unique alliance. Kim Jong-un, known for his strategic acumen and unwavering resolve, recognizes in Traoré's vision a kindred spirit, a leader equally committed to national self-reliance and the rejection of external pressures. The meeting between these two leaders, therefore, transcends a simple diplomatic exchange. It represents a strategic convergence, a shared defiance of established power structures, and a testament to the growing global desire for multipolarity. This summit, shrouded in secrecy and executed with military precision, promises to reshape the landscape of international relations, marking the beginning of a new era in African and global politics. The implications of this unlikely alliance will undoubtedly unfold over time, but its initial impact is undeniable. The world watches, captivated, as these two leaders embark on a journey to redefine their nation's places on the world stage. The ensuing events, as we shall see, would prove to be nothing short of extraordinary. To understand the significance of President Traoré's invitation to Kim Jong-un, we must examine Burkina Faso's recent history and its evolving relationship with the West. For decades, Burkina Faso, like many African nations, has navigated a complex landscape shaped by the lingering effects of colonialism and the persistent challenges of neocolonialism. The nation's pursuit of genuine independence has been a long and arduous journey, marked by periods of both progress and setbacks. The prevailing narrative of development and aid often masked a subtle, yet pervasive form of economic exploitation, leaving Burkina Faso reliant on external forces and hindering its ability to chart its own economic destiny. This dependence fostered a sense of frustration and a growing awareness of the limitations imposed by traditional power structures. The perception of unequal partnerships and the continued influence of former colonial powers fueled a desire for a more assertive and self-reliant approach to governance and international relations. President Traoré's rise to power reflects this growing sentiment. His administration represents a decisive shift away from established norms, a conscious rejection of the status quo. This bold stance is not merely a rejection of Western influence, but a proactive affirmation of Burkina Faso's right to self-determination. The pursuit of economic independence is central to this vision, entailing a diversification of partnerships and a focus on strengthening internal capabilities. This strategic recalibration is not without its risks, but it reflects a profound commitment to forging a future free from the constraints of historical dependencies and external pressures. The invitation to Kim Jong-un is a powerful symbol of this commitment, a bold declaration of Burkina Faso's intention to shape its own destiny, irrespective of external pressures or perceived threats. It signifies a determined rejection of the old order and a resolute embrace of a new paradigm in international relations, one where African nations are no longer beholden to historical power dynamics. North Korea's foreign policy has long been characterized by its independent and often defiant stance towards Western powers. A history of sanctions and international isolation has forged a nation resilient in the face of external pressure, prioritizing national sovereignty above all else. This unwavering commitment to self-reliance resonates deeply with Burkina Faso's current trajectory, creating a common ground between two nations seemingly disparate in geographical location and political systems. Kim Jong-un's leadership has further solidified this independent approach, emphasizing self-sufficiency and technological advancement as cornerstones of national strength. The pursuit of nuclear capabilities, while controversial, serves as a potent symbol of North Korea's determination to resist external coercion and maintain its autonomy in the face of global pressures. This strategic autonomy mirrors Burkina Faso's determined pursuit of economic independence and its rejection of conditional aid that often comes with strings attached. The parallels between the two nations' experiences are striking. Both have faced sustained pressure from Western powers. Both have prioritized national self-reliance, and both have shown a willingness to forge unconventional alliances to achieve their strategic goals. This shared experience of navigating a global landscape dominated by established powers forms the basis for a unique understanding and mutual respect between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un, fostering a partnership built on mutual recognition of the challenges faced by nations striving for true independence. The meeting therefore represents a convergence of two distinct but parallel paths towards self-determination, offering a glimpse into a potential future of international relations where sovereignty and national interests take precedence over traditional power dynamics. The alliance, however unexpected, is a testament to the growing global desire for a more multipolar world order. The summit between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un was not merely a meeting. It was a meticulously planned operation, shrouded in secrecy from its inception. The logistical challenges were immense, requiring a level of coordination and discretion rarely seen in international diplomacy. The very act of arranging such a meeting, given the geopolitical sensitivities involved, presented a formidable undertaking. The planning process was characterized by an almost military-like precision. Every detail, from the selection of the meeting location to the transportation of the North Korean delegation, was subject to rigorous scrutiny and multiple layers of security protocols. The routes taken by Kim Jong-un's entourage were kept classified, minimizing the risk of interception or unwanted attention. Communication channels were secured, ensuring the privacy of discussions and preventing any potential leaks. The security measures implemented were equally rigorous. Burkina Faso's military played a crucial role, providing a robust security perimeter around the meeting location and ensuring the safety of both leaders. Intelligence agencies worked tirelessly to assess and mitigate any potential threats, both internal and external. The level of secrecy surrounding the event was remarkable, with only a select few individuals privy to the full extent of the arrangements. This tight-lipped approach underscored the high stakes involved and the determination to ensure the success of this unprecedented summit. The meticulous preparation and unwavering commitment to security proved instrumental in enabling the leaders to conduct their discussions without interruption, paving the way for the significant outcomes that would follow. The secrecy, while controversial to some, ultimately facilitated a dialogue that would have otherwise been impossible under the glare of international scrutiny. The meeting itself was rich in symbolism, starting with the handshake between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un. This seemingly simple gesture transcended its literal meaning, becoming a powerful symbol of solidarity and defiance against the established world order. It represented a rejection of the traditional power dynamics that have long defined international relations, signaling a new era of cooperation between nations often overlooked or marginalized by Western powers. Beyond the symbolism, the meeting undoubtedly involved substantive discussions. The shared experiences of navigating Western pressure and sanctions likely formed a central theme. Economic cooperation, particularly in areas of technological development and infrastructure, was almost certainly explored. The potential for collaboration in agriculture and resource management, areas crucial for both nations' development, also likely featured prominently in the conversations. The atmosphere during the meeting is difficult to definitively ascertain, given the secrecy surrounding the event. However, it is reasonable to assume that the discussions were conducted with a sense of mutual respect and understanding, given the shared commitment to national sovereignty and self-reliance. The exchange of views likely involved a frank assessment of the challenges faced by both nations, as well as a discussion of potential strategies for overcoming these obstacles through collaborative efforts. The overall tone was likely one of seriousness and determination, reflecting the high stakes involved in this unprecedented meeting and the potential ramifications of the agreements reached. The meeting itself, therefore, served not only as a symbolic gesture of defiance, but also as a crucial forum for strategic planning and the forging of a new alliance based on mutual interests and shared goals. The handshake was a visual representation of a nascent partnership with global implications. The summit's success hinged not only on diplomatic finesse, but also on a formidable display of military precision and security. Both Burkina Faso and North Korea deployed significant security forces, reflecting the high-stakes nature of the meeting and the potential threats involved. The Burkina Faso armed forces played a crucial role in securing the perimeter of the meeting venue, ensuring a robust defense against any potential intrusions. Their presence was a visible demonstration of the government's commitment to protecting its leader and its guest. North Korea, known for its highly disciplined military, also deployed its own security personnel, providing an additional layer of protection for Kim Jong-un. These personnel were strategically positioned, blending seamlessly into the background while maintaining a constant vigil. Their expertise in counterintelligence and threat assessment provided an invaluable contribution to the overall security posture. The collaboration between the two nations' armed forces was a testament to the level of trust established between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un. Beyond the visible security presence, sophisticated surveillance and communication systems were undoubtedly deployed. These technologies provided real-time monitoring of the surrounding environment, allowing for the rapid detection and response to any potential threats. The meticulous planning and execution of the security protocols were instrumental in ensuring the safety and privacy of both leaders, allowing them to conduct their discussions without the fear of interruption or compromise. The success of the summit, therefore, was a result not only of political will, but also of the seamless integration of military precision and advanced security measures. The coordinated efforts of both countries' armed forces played an indispensable role in safeguarding the meeting and achieving its objectives. The apparent seamlessness of the summit was shattered by a brazen assassination attempt during a public appearance by both leaders. Details remain scarce, shrouded in the same secrecy that characterized the meeting itself, but accounts suggest a coordinated attack, possibly involving multiple assailants utilizing firearms. The swift and decisive response from the combined security forces prevented the assassination attempt from succeeding. The highly trained personnel reacted instantly, neutralizing the threat and securing the safety of President Traoré and Kim Jong-un. The leaders' reactions to the attack are particularly noteworthy. Instead of retreating or seeking refuge, both Traoré and Kim Jong-un remained resolute, using the incident as an opportunity to further solidify their message of African unity and defiance. Their composure in the face of such a grave threat served to further galvanize their supporters and demonstrate their unwavering commitment to their shared vision. The attack, while a serious incident, did not disrupt the core objectives of the meeting. The leaders' calm and decisive response served to underscore their resolve and the significance of the alliance they were forging. The impact of the assassination attempt on the meeting's proceedings was surprisingly minimal. The discussions continued, albeit with heightened security measures. The incident served to strengthen the resolve of both leaders and underscore the shared threat they perceived from external forces. The attack, therefore, inadvertently strengthened the bonds between Burkina Faso and North Korea, transforming a potential setback into an unexpected demonstration of solidarity and resolve. The attempt, while a grave incident, ultimately failed to derail the momentum of the historic summit. The assassination attempt, while a grave threat, served to unexpectedly solidify the unity and determination of President Traoré and Kim Jong-un. Their response was not one of retreat or fear, but rather a defiant assertion of their shared vision for a world free from undue external influence. Instead of succumbing to panic, they chose to present a united front, a powerful symbol of their unwavering commitment to their alliance and the principles it represented. The leaders' joint appearance after the attack, seemingly unfazed by the near miss, resonated deeply with their supporters. Their calm demeanor and resolute message conveyed an image of strength and resilience, effectively countering the intended impact of the assassination attempt. The symbolic power of their unified response cannot be overstated. It transcended national boundaries, becoming a potent symbol of resistance against perceived global hegemonies. Their shared experience forged a bond that transcended mere political alliances. Their joint statement following the incident emphasized self-determination and the rejection of neo-colonial interference, resonating profoundly across the African continent. The attack, while a calculated attempt to disrupt their plans, inadvertently strengthened their resolve and amplified their message to a global audience. The response to the assassination attempt was not merely a reaction to a crisis. It was a carefully crafted moment of political theater that served to reinforce the narrative of African sovereignty and the burgeoning alliance between Burkina Faso and North Korea. Their unwavering stance cemented their position as leaders of a new era in international relations. The meeting between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un and the subsequent assassination attempt sparked a wave of support across the African continent. The event transcended the boundaries of Burkina Faso, becoming a rallying point for Pan-African solidarity and a rejection of neo-colonial influence. The response was not merely a passive observation. It was an active demonstration of solidarity with Traoré's bold stance against Western powers. Many African nations saw the meeting as a symbol of defiance against historical injustices and a push for self-determination. The shared experience of colonialism and the ongoing struggle for economic independence resonated deeply across the continent. Traoré's assertive actions were viewed as a courageous step towards reclaiming African agency and challenging the established global power structures. The assassination attempt, far from diminishing support, only served to amplify the sense of shared vulnerability and the need for collective action. African leaders and citizens alike viewed the attack as an attempt to undermine not just Traoré, but the broader aspirations of the continent. Expressions of support for Traoré were widespread, ranging from official government statements to grassroots movements. Many African nations issued public declarations of solidarity, praising Traoré's courage and reaffirming their commitment to self-determination. The incident served as a powerful catalyst for Pan-African unity, highlighting the shared interests and concerns of African nations in the face of external pressures. The event marked a significant shift in the African political landscape, demonstrating a growing determination to forge a path independent of traditional Western influence. The outpouring of support underscored a continent united in its pursuit of a brighter, self-determined future. The meeting between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un represents a significant shift in the global geopolitical landscape, challenging established power dynamics and alliances. The alliance between these two seemingly disparate nations signals a potential realignment of global power, moving away from the traditional bipolar or unipolar models towards a more multipolar world. The collaboration between Burkina Faso and North Korea, while unexpected, highlights a growing trend of nations seeking alternative partnerships outside the traditional Western sphere of influence. This unprecedented alliance has the potential to disrupt existing geopolitical balances. It challenges the established norms of international relations and suggests a growing willingness among nations to forge alliances based on shared interests rather than historical allegiances or ideological conformity. The impact extends beyond the immediate relationship between Burkina Faso and North Korea. potentially influencing other nations to reconsider their foreign policy strategies and seek out new partnerships that better serve their national interests. The implications of this shift are far-reaching. It could lead to the formation of new alliances and trading blocs, challenging the dominance of existing international organizations and institutions. The potential for economic and strategic cooperation between Burkina Faso and North Korea could also lead to technological advancements and economic growth in both countries, further destabilizing the existing global economic order. The long-term consequences of this alliance remain to be seen, but its immediate impact is undeniable, a challenge to the status quo and a harbinger of a more multipolar future. The summit between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un serves as a powerful symbol of resistance against lingering colonial legacies in Africa. The meeting can be interpreted as a direct rejection of the historical power imbalances imposed during the colonial era, where African nations were often subjected to external influence and exploitation. Traoré's decision to invite Kim Jong-un, a leader known for his defiance of Western powers, is a deliberate act of challenging these historical power dynamics. The choice of North Korea as a partner underscores a conscious effort to move beyond the traditional relationships that have often characterized Africa's interactions with the West. It represents a deliberate attempt to diversify partnerships and forge alliances based on shared interests and mutual respect rather than historical dependencies or imposed relationships. The summit implicitly rejects the notion that African nations must seek validation or permission from Western powers to chart their own course. The event is a clear statement against neocolonialism, a subtle yet persistent form of dominance that continues to shape the political and economic landscapes of many African nations. Traoré's actions signal a shift towards a more assertive and independent African foreign policy, one that prioritizes self-determination and national sovereignty above all else. This assertive approach resonates deeply with the aspirations of many African nations seeking to break free from the shackles of historical injustices and forge a more equitable future. The meeting serves as a potent reminder that Africa's destiny is to be determined by Africans themselves. The meeting between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un stands as a powerful symbol of African independence and self-determination. It represents a decisive break from the historical patterns of dependence and external influence that have characterized much of Africa's post-colonial experience. Traoré's bold decision to invite Kim Jong-un, a leader known for his resistance to Western powers, is a clear assertion of Africa's right to chart its own course, free from external pressures. This alliance could serve as a catalyst for other African nations to pursue similar paths of sovereignty. The meeting demonstrates that alternative partnerships are possible and that African nations are not obligated to align themselves with traditional Western powers. It challenges the notion that economic prosperity or political stability can only be achieved through alignment with established Western interests. The Burkina Faso-North Korea alliance provides an alternative model, suggesting that self-reliance and independent decision-making can be pathways to national development. The symbolic significance of this meeting extends beyond Burkina Faso. It represents a potential shift in the balance of power within the African political landscape, empowering other nations to explore new alliances and pursue their own national interests without feeling constrained by historical dependencies or external pressures. The potential for economic cooperation and technological exchange between Burkina Faso and North Korea could inspire other African nations to explore similar partnerships, fostering greater self-reliance and economic independence across the continent. The alliance embodies a bold new chapter in African international relations. The Traoré-Kim Jong-un summit possesses the potential to act as a catalyst for greater unity and cooperation among African nations. The meeting's symbolism, a rejection of traditional power structures and a bold assertion of self-determination, resonates deeply with the aspirations of many African countries seeking to strengthen their collective voice on the world stage. The shared experience of resisting external pressures could foster a stronger sense of solidarity and mutual support among African nations. This unexpected partnership could lead to the emergence of a new alliance system within Africa, one that prioritizes collective self-reliance and mutual benefit. The Burkina Faso-North Korea alliance, while unconventional, provides a template for alternative partnerships based on shared interests and mutual respect, rather than historical allegiances or imposed relationships. This model could inspire other African nations to forge stronger bonds with each other, creating a more unified and self-sufficient continent. The potential benefits of such a unified approach are significant. Greater cooperation among African nations could lead to enhanced economic integration, improved infrastructure development, and increased political influence on the global stage. A unified front on issues such as trade, security, and development could strengthen Africa's negotiating power in international forums and enable the continent to advocate more effectively for its interests. The long-term implications of this potential shift towards greater African unity remain to be seen, yet the seeds of a new era of cooperation appear to have been sown. The meeting, therefore, holds profound significance not only for Burkina Faso, but for the entire African continent. The long-term implications of the Traoré-Kim Jong-un summit for African politics are potentially far-reaching and transformative. The meeting could trigger a significant reshaping of regional alliances, as other African nations may be inspired to explore alternative partnerships beyond traditional Western alliances. This could lead to a more diversified and multipolar landscape of international relations within the African continent. Economically, the summit could stimulate new patterns of trade and investment. The potential for cooperation between Burkina Faso and North Korea, despite their vastly different economic systems, could serve as a model for other African nations seeking to diversify their economic partnerships and reduce dependence on traditional Western markets. This could lead to the development of new economic corridors and increased regional trade within Africa. In terms of foreign policy, the summit could signal a shift towards a more assertive and independent approach. African nations may become more inclined to pursue their own national interests without feeling constrained by external pressures from Western powers. This could lead to a greater emphasis on multilateralism and the pursuit of solutions to global challenges through collaborations outside of traditional Western-dominated frameworks. The potential for increased collaboration among African nations on issues of security, development, and regional stability is significant. The summit's long-term impact will depend on several factors, including the success of the Burkina Faso-North Korea partnership and the willingness of other African nations to embrace similar approaches. However, the meeting undoubtedly marks a pivotal moment in African politics, potentially setting the stage for a more self-determined and multipolar future for the continent. The unprecedented meeting between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un represents a significant turning point in international relations. It underscores a growing rejection of traditional power structures and a move towards a more multipolar world order. The summit highlighted the potential for unconventional alliances based on shared interests and a commitment to national sovereignty, challenging established norms and expectations in global diplomacy. The meeting's success, despite a serious assassination attempt, underscores the determination of both leaders to pursue their vision of a more equitable and independent international system. The key takeaway is the assertion of African agency and the potential for a significant reshaping of African political and economic landscapes. The alliance between Burkina Faso and North Korea, while unexpected, demonstrates a willingness to explore alternative partnerships outside of traditional Western influence. This could inspire other African nations to pursue similar paths, fostering greater self-reliance and regional cooperation. The event has galvanized Pan-African solidarity against neo-colonialism and has signaled a potential shift toward a more assertive and unified African voice on the global stage. However, many questions remain. Will this alliance endure? Will other African nations follow Burkina Faso's lead in seeking partnerships outside of traditional Western alliances? What will be the long-term impact on regional stability and economic development? The answers to these questions will shape the trajectory of international relations in the coming years. The meeting between President Traoré and Kim Jong-un has undeniably initiated a period of profound uncertainty and potential transformation in the global political order, the ramifications of which will continue to unfold.